Hey guys, it's Kathleen, and today I'm doing a discussion video on reading obscure books, why we don't read them, and whether we should be reading them more. I was inspired to do this video by recent videos by Ariel Bissett, where she talks about 10 books I want to read that nobody else cares about. So during those videos, she talks about 10 books she wants to read that aren't popular, no one's ever heard of, and therefore no one cares about her reading them. And I remember a little while ago, I saw Sylvia K at one point talk about in a video how she made a video on an obscure book, and it only got 60 views, and so she didn't want to keep making those videos anymore. So it occurred to me to make a discussion video about why we won't talk about obscure books and why people are unwilling to do that and whether this actually hinders our community. The first thing I want to address is specifically why we don't read obscure or uncommon books on Booktube typically. And the obvious answer for this is simply that it doesn't get a lot of views or attention. Simply put, like Sylvia said, when she did a video on an obscure book, it only got 60 views and she had several hundred subscribers at that point, so that's not a whole lot. Therefore, the general consensus, I believe, is that if you make a video on an obscure book, you will fade into obscurity. And nobody wants that, so no one wants to do it. We want to keep up with what's popular and what people care about, and therefore we tend to read the new releases, we tend to read what's a big hit, old series that people love, things that are gonna get people's attention. As a result, people don't really find out about these obscure books. And by obscure books, by the way, I don't mean just books that have only sold like 10 copies. I'm talking about, say, independent books. I'm talking about books that maybe are published by local publishers. This is actually something that affects me personally in that I would love to read more books by maritime authors, but I also feel like they don't get the kind of attention that other books do. They're very niche and therefore no one will care. It's extremely tempting to fall into this trap of I can't read this book because it's not going to be popular, it's not going to get attention, and therefore you never read the book because you basically think that the book's value is dependent on whether people are going to watch videos or blog posts that you make about the book. I don't want to project onto other people, but I have definitely had this sentiment, so I'm going to go ahead and assume other people have as well. So the next thing I really want to talk about is why we don't want other people to make videos about obscure books. I have less of a clear answer for this question, honestly. I would really love people's input actually, but I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that we want to feel like we're part of this large conversation, and that's hard to do when you're reading books that are not backed by giant publishers or have blurbs by giant authors. We want to feel in the know. We want to interact with authors on Twitter. You know, we want publishers to know who we are. We want other booktubers to know who we are, and we think that's easier if we do what's big and what's popular. So I can totally watch a video about an obscure book and think, oh my gosh, that book sounds so cool, I would totally love to read it, but I'm probably only going to engage with that one booktuber since it's unlikely that a lot of other people are going to read that book. The truth is, I think what most people in this community are after is engagement, and not just engagement, but broad engagement. And we think we're not going to get that broad engagement if we only engage with a small group of people over a book that no one's heard of. Is this the right attitude to have? Is this the wrong attitude to have? I don't really know. But nonetheless, I do think that's a part of why we personally don't look at for those books that are more obscure. Not to say that people don't love finding book recommendations of things they've never heard of, but at the same time, I think nonetheless that we don't want book recommendations for things that no one has ever heard of. So I want to talk a little bit now about whether this unwillingness to both make videos about obscure books and the unwillingness to watch videos about obscure books hinders our community. And again, this is another thing I don't have a clear answer on. Usually I do these discussion videos where I have like a, yes, I know the answer at the end, and I share with you my answer, but I don't think I 100% have one. I think it can honestly hinder your own life more than it's going to hinder somebody else's. I think you should be reading the things you want to read, and if somebody else doesn't like that, who cares? There's this feeling that I should only read a book if I can make a video that's gonna get a lot of views, and I actually think that's bad because it's gonna stop me from reading different things and reading unique things that I might not otherwise have discovered. I don't want to be afraid to read local fiction. I don't want to be afraid to read things that are published by international authors that maybe aren't as popular on Booktube yet. I don't want to be afraid to read indie published books just because I think no one cares. So I don't have a clear answer on whether this really hinders the community, but I definitely think it can hinder your own reading life. I know it's hindered mine in the past, and I hope it won't in the future. So I think it can really hinder the things you read, and ultimately that will change the kind of content you want to produce. Now, whether that matters to you is up to you personally. I know it doesn't to everybody, but I know for me personally, I don't want to say that I won't make videos about obscure books or I won't read those books just because I don't think they're going to get tons of attention. I know I'm not going to do it all the time, but it is something I want to try to do more in general, just to enhance my own reading and to read what I want to read and to keep doing that regardless of what people think of what I'm reading. And finally, I want to address whether there's a solution solution to this, which honestly I don't think there is. So nowadays, with this whole YouTube demonetization thing, people are even more hooked onto getting views than they were because of the whole 4,000 hours of watch time thing, and people want to make videos that are going to get them subscribers, and of course that makes perfect sense. So I think unfortunately that's going to motivate people to not want to make videos about obscure books or books that are popular, even if they love those books, just because they're not going to get the views. Do I think we could rally behind booktubers and we could say, we're going to watch your videos with obscure books? Yes, of course we could. But on the day-to-day, we have to remember that booktube is more than just a dedicated small group of people. There's a lot of people who watch booktubers, who only watch the bigger booktubers, and people want to reach those people too, and those people are going to be reached by making videos about what's popular, not what's obscure. So though it's a sad thing, I feel like there's no immediate solution, at least in the current climate of YouTube and what's happening. Honestly, I wish for better for the future. I think there are so many great books out there that are a little less common and they deserve a boost, but I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon. That's it for this discussion video today. I hope you guys did enjoy this. I really want to hear your thoughts on this topic. As you can see, mine are not fully formed. I don't really have any ideal solutions to this, but I totally want to know what you guys think. If you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe on your way out. If you're new here, I upload videos twice a week, occasionally more if I'm not feeling sporadic. If you want to follow me on any of my social medias, the links will all be in the description, but in the meantime, I will see you guys next time.